Hi, everyone, and welcome back. This is Tracy with the Gather community, and I'm here with the fabulous and lovely Leah Allen back from the East Coast. We got the East Coast West Coast thing going on today, coast-ish, Eastern time zone. And Leah is a marketing maven. I love that term. And I met Leah through another networking community, Polka Dot Powerhouse, which we're both members of, and we got to meet in person briefly last year, but we've really been getting to know each other since then. And so I'm excited to introduce Leah to our community and to the world at large about her and her business and what it is that she's here to, do for the planet. So Leah, welcome to I always want to say the podcast. It's not a podcast yet,
Mhm.
but it is, we're going to talk about you and your business and what got you here and what you're excited about. So, Leah, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you and how your business journey got you to where you are now.
Well, great. Thank you, Tracy. I'm excited to be here. My journey was actually kind of convoluted, and it took a few turns along the way. I like to say that I spend a lot of time, the term that we use during COVID is pivoting. I am the queen of pivoting. So I started my business in the early 90s. When I started, I was a secretarial service. My business was the Office Alternative. Back then, they called it a secretarial service, and I did
Yeah.
typing and transcription and that kind of stuff. And then over time it evolved. I became more and more involved with my clients, and I had my team doing all the typing and transcription, and I was doing more of the consultative stuff,
Mhm.
helping them decide what to outsource, what to hold on to, where their brilliance was. And I found I became really passionate about working with entrepreneurs. Fast forward, became certified as a marketing coach for a program called Get Clients Now through CJ Hayden, which some
Mhm.
people may know of.
Yeah.
And I love training her material because it's really simple, and it helps me teach my clients basically what I like to call marketing behaviors so that they can behave their way to success. So I had my own training center, I would say in the late 90s or early 2000. And then around 2000, I don't know, 8, I want to say, my son started developing some major challenges in
Mm.
school. And long story short, I had to pull both my boys out of school and homeschool them. So here I was, business owner, training center, had to close that down and again pivot to figure this out. So I focused on homeschooling. We had a blast. It was the best time of my life. And I just decided to slowly um, train and do work with clients just one-on-one. It was a really great time, and I found ways to fit it into my schedule. And I have tons of hysterical stories about what that looked like. Um, Once I graduated my boys, that's where I'm at now. I'm back at an office space that I love, and I am now really relaunching what I had before, which is my business marketing gym. And at my gym, I am teaching people how to get control of their marketing. I like people to have do their own marketing as much as possible because business owners really know their business. And I want the voice to be their voice, not
Mhm.
somebody else's voice. So I really help them with that. And I teach them how to um, network properly because I'm all about relationship marketing. Really, that's if I had to give a specialty, that would be my specialty.
Yeah, I definitely see that for you because you're always, always, always networking, lots of networking, right?
Hmm.
And I think that people sometimes feel like networking time is not productive, right? It's yeah, I spend too much time networking and not enough time working. So I would love to hear your take on that idea because I think that a lot of people um don't see all of the value that can be had by spending time networking in groups. So
And
talk a little bit about how you help people find the value in that.
well, I appreciate that. Yeah, one of the things that I do, I have a networking boot camp that I do with people, and I teach them how to do that. And I specifically talk about not wasting time because there are times where you're just like having fun and networking, but are you really being productive?
Yeah.
So, first you have to make sure you're in the right rooms. I teach them how to find the right place to network. Who is your niche? Are you spending time, if you're a lawyer, or if, okay, so we own a painting business as well. So in my
Right.
painting business, I'm networking in a specific area. And for my marketing business, I'm networking somewhere else. We have two completely different client bases.
Yeah.
So that's really important. So knowing where to network and then knowing what to say when you're in that networking group. And one of the things that I love is one-on-ones. To me, that is where the rubber hits the road. When you can sit down with someone, I would do a one-on-one every day of the week if I could. And over spending money on advertising, it's so much more effective. So
Mm,
I tell people, advertising is wonderful, but when you can sit down belly button to belly button or face to face like this and really get to know someone, oh my gosh, the floodgates open up. People are all of a sudden you are top of mind when somebody is looking for somebody. Oh, you need to talk to so and so.
yep.
And it's really powerful.
Yeah, 100%. I love that so much. And so I love that example of the painting business, Allen Brothers Painting,
Yeah.
and your marketing business. Yeah, the ideal client is a completely different person. And
Mhm.
the painting company can really leverage advertising in a much different way. And the people that you connect to, you want to be able to be top of mind, like you said, but it's less about your soft skills and more about awareness
Mhm.
for that. And for marketing, it's a lot more about that relationship, like I would imagine, the
Yes.
really building the trust, you want to trust your painters too, but the trust of really getting into someone's business and helping them, like that you're really going to understand,
Exactly.
right? The understanding is different from how do you be the best painter at the right price and do what you say you're going to do versus how are you going to help me really show my passion for my business. That's one of the things I think that people forget, that the marketing part of what we do is like showing why we're excited, not just
Mhm.
what we do but why we do it.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things I like to say to people, when people start their business, they usually start it because they're really good at something or they're really angry at their boss. Those are usually the two reasons I find that they start their business. And they want to do it themselves. And they have this like entrepreneurial burst and they do it. But then all of a sudden they wake up and realize they have to market, they have bookkeeping, they have so many things that goes into growing a business. The E-Myth book really states it so well. Anyone who
Mhm.
read that understands. So I just want to teach people not to necessarily be professional marketers, but how to market their business. So I like to say that I teach marketing for non-marketing professionals and I make it very user-friendly. And I'm more
Yeah.
of a teacher and trainer and somewhat of a consultant, not as much of a coach. So
Right.
that's kind of how I phrase myself.
Yeah, and I see that in your work and your style and stuff, that the because marketing is so, it can be so much of like, I'm just not sure what the right thing to do is.
Mhm.
And people get stuck.
Right.
So like the coaching part of me wants to say, just talk. Like it's just what you need is inside you, and there's nothing to worry about. Just get started. But you're talking about making sure that they're aware of who they're talking to and how they're talking to them. And I think that
Exactly.
that's those, especially that foundational piece that so many people don't think about until they're not having success and they need help to fix things.
Sure. And the other piece that I try to really kind of hammer in, if you will, is that I'd rather see someone do a little every day than
Yeah.
do these big giant launches and then there's crickets for months. Like I
Yep.
see a lot of start and stops happening. And that really blows momentum really
Yep.
big time. But if you can even do a little every day, commit to one post on social media a day, that will be more effective than doing 10 posts in 1 week and then not posting for a month,
Right.
because people really need to build up that time. And that's one of the things is I teach people how to do that, because a lot of times I'm working with clients and they're so overwhelmed. They're just
Yep.
trying to work in their business, and I need to teach them to take a little bit of time to work on their business. And that's the whole concept of my business marketing gym,
Yeah.
is giving them a chance to catch their breath, slow down to speed up, and to actually take time to work on their business, even if it's just 1 hour a week.
Yep.
It's so powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that people always tell me is, wow, I see you all the time. And
Mhm.
that's the goal, right? That's what consistency gets you,
Exactly.
is that I see you all the time. So like you said, if someone needs a service or whatever it is that you do, if they see you all the time, that's going to be what comes to their mind when they have a need.
Exactly.
But if they are like, oh yeah, that they did something, I saw something from them a while ago. I wonder,
Yeah,
now they're curious and wondering if you're in business, if you're a professional, if you're really even still doing that work. And
exactly. I
we
mean,
don't
when
want people wondering if we're in business.
I mean, totally. I mean, I will sometimes when I'm working with a client, we'll just sit down and look at their social media, and I say, so when was the last time you posted? Sometimes it's been months, and I'm like, well, then how do people know what to do and how to find you and
Yep.
whether you're even in business anymore? So it's
Yep.
really, again, once a week, even just commit to something and be consistent about it.
Yeah. I was thinking the other day about social media,
Mhm.
because I think about it a lot. And the love hate relationship most people have with
Mhm.
social media, and the fact that you know it's social, but it's media. So what does that mean? Media is what we used to have before social media was newspapers,
Mhm.
magazines, flyers at the coffee shop, and we still have a little bit of the flyer at the coffee shop thing. And the newspapers and magazines are definitely like a small percentage of what they used to be. Some do exist, but where do people get their news and their information and their understanding of new things happening around them or resources that they might need? They get it on social media.
Exactly.
And so social media isn't bad. Like, okay, I'm not a big fan of, some of the people who've created this kind of crazy world we're living in,
Mhm.
but it's a tool. It's like a newspaper. It's like a magazine. And to be able to show up consistently, like, when I was a kid, I used to flip through the magazine and you flip through all the middle on Sunday, right? All
Mhm.
of the advertisements and the store flyers and every little, the parade thing in the middle of the newspaper. And it was all ads with a couple of
Mhm.
articles, right? And those ads that's how the businesses were getting their information out there. So that doesn't really exist anymore. No one gets the paper. My dad used to still get the paper until he passed away a couple years ago. And so I'd go and I'd look at what was there on Sunday, and it was this thin little section now because no one was looking at a hard copy. And they're definitely not going to the newspaper site to come across that kind of information. They're
Yeah.
going to Facebook, they're going to Instagram, they're going to TikTok, they're going to LinkedIn, maybe a little bit different animal, but the general social media of LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, that's where people are finding information. So if you're not
Absolutely.
showing up there, you're not showing up anywhere.
My mom gets the Sunday paper just so she can do her puzzles. That's it. And then she
Yeah.
throws everything else away. So it's really hysterical.
And you know what? I do all the puzzles online now. I love the New York Times puzzle website. It's so
Yeah.
good.
Well,
So many good
that's
puzzles.
that's cool. I didn't even know they did that. One of the
Oh
things
yes, I'll send you some. They're fun. What kind do you like?
I love regular word puzzles, just
Okay.
anything to do with words.
I got a couple of fun ones I'll send you. They're quick too. You can just get them done and it doesn't derail your day.
I love that. So one of the things that when it comes to social media that, if somebody's complaining, I'm saying, you know what? And especially if they tell me they don't have time to network, which I mean, if you don't have time to network, just close your doors, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You need to meet with people somehow. Well, on social media, there's in every, I don't know, I'm sure it's the same way where you are. there are community groups within Facebook. So
Absolutely, right.
our painting business gets so many leads from a local community when somebody posts, I'm looking for a painter. Does anybody need a painter? And I have all these people that I have spent time building relationships with in my networking groups and on Facebook. And they'll say, oh, you need to check out Allen Brothers Painting.
Yep,
And they'll post my link right in there and we get tons of calls.
yep.
Just that alone is worth the price of admission to be a part of that. If you're, I
Absolutely.
can see people who are not on Facebook and they're looking for what they serve, and I can't even refer them because they're not on Facebook.
Right.
So,
Well, and like you said, the price of admission, there's no admission to Facebook.
no,
It's free. So it's the argument of, the algorithm and the owner,
yeah,
CEO and all of that stuff versus using it as the tool that we can use it as.
exactly.
That it's intended actually, which is to connect people. Even if the original intent was to connect people in a very different way, the way that people connect now is for things that they need or to share updates in their life or in their business. And that's what we're doing. Yeah, I'm
Exactly.
a big fan of the social media.
And also
Awesome.
you can time block, I mean, so that you don't get lost, because some people say, well, I don't want to get on social media because I get lost. And I'm like, so you set up a timer and you
Yep.
do a time block, you go in and do what you need to do and you get out.
Yeah,
It's
it
really
is that
simple.
you do have to create kind of a boundary around yourself
Mhm,
and some parameters for yourself to follow and commit to yourself, right?
mhm.
It's like you said, it's all about working on your business for a period of time a week. If 90% of your time is spent on client work, that other 10% is spent, making sure that you have what you need done, and don't let it get out of control so that you can go on and work on more client work. Yeah,
Absolutely.
awesome. Love it. Okay, so let's see what else. Um, so the marketing gym,
Mhm,
we're recording here in February of 24. So depending on when you're watching this out there in
mm,
YouTube land, that may be totally rocking and rolling. And it's not really something new. You've been doing this work for a long time. So
mm.
it's a little bit reimagined, but also just kind of refreshed and
Sure.
out there again for people. So that's really exciting. And I know that, after people kind of come in and they start going to the gym, they're going to need more things and you're going to have those for them. So that's really exciting too. I'm so thrilled that we're able to kind of get in here with you at the beginning so people can really understand you. I think that um, the way that you showed up here today and the way that you show up in your networking and stuff is so trustworthy, so grounded
Mhm.
and solid in like you're totally the kind of person that I would come to if I have a question. So
Thank
I'm
you.
really thrilled to be able to bring you here to the Gather community and to have you start to show up at our events and share everything that you have to offer with our audiences and our members. So just super excited. I'm thrilled.
Thank you so much. I'm
Yeah,
thrilled to
absolutely.
be here.
The other thing that I wanted to ask, actually, it just came to my mind, is about networking groups, right?
Mhm,
So you were talking about how your painting company, you have kind of one networking group. And I know, we talked about being in Polka Dot together,
mhm.
different kind of networking style. So what would you say to someone who like has been spending time in one group and they kind of feel stuck there, but or maybe not stuck there, but like they've made a commitment to being a member of this group, but they're not really getting much out of it. What would you want them to look at before they maybe jump ship and try something else?
Sure, sure. So first I would look at, something, am I doing enough in that group? Because
Yeah.
it's more, I'm in BNI for our painting business. And it's every Thursday morning at 7. I love the group. It's not enough to just show up at 7 on Thursdays. I do the one-on-ones and I meet with the business owners so that we can get to know each other. And what is a good referral? What is a bad referral? What is your target market? So I would look at what am I doing in that group to make sure I'm getting the most out of that group. If I could say with all honesty that I've done everything I can and I'm still not getting something, then I take a look and say, maybe this isn't the right group for me. And I would start, before I left that group, start identifying what is the right group for me and where does that group meet? And then I would go try that group out. And I always
Mm-hmm.
tell people when I'm doing a networking boot camp or training, give a group, you have to give it easily 90 days. You can't just come to one meeting and expect that you're going to get business. It takes time to
Yeah.
build relationships. So that's another thing is, how long have you been in that group? What have you done in that group? Have you made individual connections? One of the first things I did when I started my business in the early 90s, when I didn't know anyone and I was starting from scratch, was I joined a local group and I got on committees and I got involved.
Yeah.
And that was the best way to get to know people. So I always encourage people, if they're really starting out and they literally have zero connections, to start building their community by getting involved on committees and being of service. Then people get to know you, and that's when the real magic happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And one of the things as you were talking, I thought of was, if you go to visit a group or you're new in a group and you're kind of getting bombarded with, hey, you, like it's a little overwhelming when a bunch of people are saying we should do one-on-one, we should have a meeting, we should do this, and you're like, it's too much, I can't do all of that, and that's very aggressive. Like, I think that that's a vibe that people feel, that they're being attacked by people asking to meet with them, but it's why we're here,
Mhm.
right? It's why you're there. And so, you just have to go in, like you said, and understand what it is you're looking for. And maybe start off with, I'm going to set up 2 calls a week.
Mhm.
And because I think that we feel a lot of pressure going into a group. Yeah, let's set, are you free tomorrow? Are you free? Like, we want to do it so soon. And sometimes that just overwhelms your week and you can't get anything else done. And now you're like, networking takes too much time.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe, and I'm looking at this for myself for speaking, like, look out on your calendar. You don't have to meet with them today. You could meet with them next week or 2 weeks, because you do want it to kind of go through over time anyway.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a group with 30 people and you meet with them all within 30 days, not only are you going to not be doing anything but doing meetings, but you're also going to kind of mix them up maybe in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's kind of too much too fast. So allow yourself to be okay with saying, I'd love to do that, I'm a little booked.
Right.
Let's put it forward, because I think that would help with people's overwhelm.
I get a lot of people say, how do you do so much networking? And I said, I look at that as my job.
That's
Is
the job,
network.
right?
So when I look at it that way, I also, like I talked about time blocking, I have certain days dedicated just to networking, and I do back-to-back meetings on those days, because then once I'm in my office, I can be productive and I don't have to stop what I'm doing to go
Yeah.
out to a networking event. So
Yeah.
I think when you can actually set up your schedule so that networking is built into it and a part of it, even if it's just a half a day a week,
Yep.
it's not a problem. It's like, okay, it's part of my schedule.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And the whole, like, that's the job.
Mhm.
Like, right now, networking, obviously I have Gather Community. Networking is a big part of how we grow our community and how we get the word out about our existence and my retreat and all of the things. And the opportunity to say, but what is my job right now?
Mhm.
Is my job right now networking? Right? And my job right now might not be networking, it might be something else. But we definitely go through phases where,
Mhm.
I'm going to spend this month and my job is networking. I did that before, like going to Celebration last year in October. I did so many connects the 6 weeks prior to Celebration, but that was intentional.
Mhm.
Network as much as possible, get to know as many people as possible so that we can build the relationships before we meet in person.
And that was
And
brilliant, by the way. I
it
wanted to
was so
say,
good.
because you warmed up the waters. You walked into Celebration and knew so many people, even though you had never been there before, because
Right.
you already had so many connects.
And honestly, from a personal standpoint, I felt more comfortable and
Mhm.
more at ease walking into a room of 400 women who a lot of them had been going for years.
Mhm.
I didn't feel as a fish out of water as I might have had I not done that. And it was still a challenge seeing people in 3D versus flat, on the screen. Right, there's still that weight, oh my gosh, and
Is that
height
her?
differences and all of that, right?
Oh, I am vertically challenged. It's okay.
And I am very vertical. So, but so that still happened, but it actually kind of became part of the conversation instead of a point of discomfort, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good example of how to warm up the lead. So again, if you can't meet with somebody for a long period of time because of your schedule, you can do something to warm it up, like send them an article of interest that you think they'd like just to keep them in front of you.
Yep.
So
Well,
there are a lot of
and
ways.
as someone who's teaching workshops, it's also like I don't have room on my calendar for a couple of weeks, but I have a workshop in a couple of days. Why don't you
Hmm.
come and you'll kind of see the vibe of what I'm doing?
Exactly.
And, with no pressure or anything, just like come and experience it. And that's, a great tool of like having free workshops, or if you're
Mhm.
speaking at something, the things that I do, workshops and speaking are great opportunities for people to get to know me without me spending one-on-one time yet. And then we follow
Exactly.
up afterwards. So
A little pink spoon marketing going on, a little taste of Tracy.
yes, right. Pink
Yeah.
spoon. I love that. That's 21 flavors, man. Okay. I love it. Is there anything else that you'd like, or how would you kind of summarize if someone only saw this last piece, say, like maybe it's your 30-second blurb or something, right? Like how would you summarize, say, if you met Leah Allen, what do you want us to take away from meeting you?
Well, if you met me and I would want you to take away that I'm here to support you to market your business in a way that is authentic to you and one that is going to take you to the next level without stressing you out. I'm going to teach you how to do that. And you're going to love it. You're going to
Mm,
walk away feeling energized and excited instead of frustrated and exhausted.
so good. You are brilliant, my friend. I
Thank
love
you.
it. I love it. And I can't wait to shout all of this to the rooftops. Thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, thank
Yay.
you. Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you again soon.